Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This video is to go over our Q3 2025 Investor Satisfaction Survey responses. Now, we've got a lot of these, and so we're going to select about 5 to go over. Quarterly, we do review these individually. The teams will review them, their supervisors review them with you. And so we go through every one of these. Much prefer you put your name, even if you're mad at us, because then we can contact you and discuss things, provide more information, context, whatever it may be. But without that name, it's a little hard to do. So I'm going to go ahead and dig into these. And I am finding that this Q3 is actually much more interesting. Sometimes we get, a lot of compliments and some complaints, but this has some really good questions. So I'm excited for you guys. So let's go down a few. Some of the initial make-ready items weren't prioritized ahead of the optional good to-do items. A few things that were more considered nice to do for the listing purposes came up before the must do to be code compliant items. And that was their challenge with the initial ramp up. And I've got to say, I appreciate you even knowing whether things are optional or not optional, code compliance being a significant focus. That's a great start right there to your investing journey. Keep in mind that the vendors that we have available kind of fit in, and then there's a priority to get things done. And sometimes if we, for example, were to paint the door before we change the locks, we may have to go back and then paint the door again. So I can't speak to this specific case, but if it's code compliance and it's done before the tenant moves in, or certain things within so many days of the tenants moving in, we're good to go either way. But I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Vendor availability in Austin is the thing. It's something we battle with all the time, but we've got that noted. Next one is, this is related to listing the property. And this is very common, as why I want to read this to you guys. At this quarter, at this year, this is the market. It's changed dramatically when it comes to volume of inventory for sale and properties for lease. My house is buried 6 to 7 pages deep in the top rental apps. Come back to that. Has been on the market for over 60 days, not abnormal. Initially, I don't feel like the company cares about my investment. Last property manager provided portal with pictures of my house every month and handle all the HOA issues, things like that. So I want to address these one at a time. So first off, when we list your property, the primary method through which we'll find properties in Austin, Texas is the MLS and through agents. There are some other cities that I even have investments in that they don't use the MLS, like rural Missouri, things like that, and other cities where Zillow is dominant. But Zillow is being proved to be not important across the nation slowly. And we as property managers are now sharing this information and kind of extracting ourselves from their grips financially, if you would. So we cannot control what happens on third-party websites, the order that they have listings or anything else. And so if it's buried, if it's not buried, that's a way to extract money out of us and indirectly you, because you're going to be paying for that. There are ways to be paid if you have one listing or to get that up, but you would have to collaborate with your property manager and work through that. I do not recommend it. Done the test and done the stats. They don't work. The MLS in Austin is the way to go. So again, we're back to foundational items of getting your property properly ready, curb appeal, pricing it right, making it available, things like that. That's going to get you the outcome you want no matter what. The other item was market 60 days, which is not uncommon because we're seeing, I've shared with you guys some charts, unbelievable volumes of inventory in Austin. And so when the supply has stayed stagnant or grown slightly or declined slightly, but the inventory is 8 times that amount, the days on market are going to increase. That doesn't matter what product it is. Lastly, the prior property manager provided a portal with pictures of the house every month, timely communications, and handle all HOA issues. I would almost challenge that this is an HOA, not a property manager, because no property manager that I'm aware of in the US or single family homes can financially go by the house monthly. That's what you're paying your HOA to do if you have an HOA. So this actually may have been your HOA property manager, unless they were within one company and they drove the neighborhood because they managed the entire neighborhood. And then they uploaded those to a portal and somehow you had access to that. But I've asked around. We haven't been able to get the information back on this. And that is not a common practice, not a practice at all for anyone, because it would cost, approximately 50% of the management fee just to track the property. And then you'd have to upload the photo. And to be honest, that's what you're paying your HOA for anyway. So you wouldn't want to pay us to duplicate the work if you have an HOA. There's something that's not connecting there on dots. Next one is, we should put more emphasis on tenants maintaining yards. I'm going to go back to the last question, which is the HOA. So if you have an HOA, that is their job. That's what you're paying them to do. When they send us the photo, we get in touch with the tenant. We make sure the yard's done. We get the HOA happy, and that all works in that circle. But that's who you're already paying for. If we had to go to the property, drive it every month, we have to charge you guys about an extra $75 a month just to make that drive. And if you've got the HOA, that's what they're doing. If you don't have the HOA, there is no one that can drive that property. And that's why we emphasize going to these homes twice a year, no matter what. Some of the more consistent complaints we get by about 10% of our clients is we don't want to pay for the semi-annual walk. That's exactly what you're paying for. If you're not paying for an HOA, someone has to go to that property, make sure the yard's maintained, the trees aren't on the roof, there's not a transmission inside the living room. We have to walk those properties to protect you guys. So we've got to take care of that one way or the other. We would certainly love it if the tenants maintain the yards at all times, but that's when we've got all these parties in place to take care of, and we're doing our best to do that for you. The next one has some compliments, and that goes into a question. It says, my rental lease renews in a month. Does 1836 send a survey to tenants, see how they like the property, things like that? We actually do send surveys quarterly to the tenants. We don't send them monthly. The response rate is typically, because it's tenants, and you can understand this, high on complaints and low on compliments, because everybody likes to voice their concern when they want something, and they don't want to fill out an extra survey when they don't want something. That's the nature of it. But we do send out quarterly surveys. We get some feedback from those. And then the property managers actually stay in touch with those tenants if anything comes up, and review everything before the renewal is put in place. The last one I'm going to go over with you is, I think as soon as the tenant vacates the property, it needs to have the locks changed ASAP. We could absolutely do that at your request. It will cost you over $100 to do that. And then we have to change those again before the tenant gets in place. Now, the code doesn't stipulate we have to change it once the tenant's in place. But if we've exposed those keys to vendors, to agents, to other people coming in and out of the property, we move a tenant in, it's not safe for that new tenant to have keys that have been exposed. So we always wait until move-in, and then we'll rekey with that tenant on site so they know they're getting a fresh set of keys, and so that we can ensure that there's no liability for you as an owner should something happen to those tenants. So there's a method of the madness. If you wanted it rekeyed specifically, we could send them back out and they could do it twice, but it would cost you $100, $150. And we've not had any issues with that over the years. So I don't think if I forgot to say it on the front side, let me say now, we are 1836 Property Management, always in beautiful downtown Austin, Texas. And we're here to serve you for all your real estate investing needs in Central Texas. Give us a call or find us online, 1836propertymanagement.com. We will see you after Q4 2025 is over to review those survey results. And please do fill them out. We look at every answer. Have a great day. See you soon.